According to a professor of English literature here at Liverpool University, there's no more powerful way of doing that than tackling the masterpieces of our tough mother tongue. And he's looked to brain science to show why. Phil Davis has taught generations of students how to read and understand Shakespeare, one of the most challenging and innovative writers in world literature. Phil became fascinated by what was sparked inside his brain when it encountered some of Shakespeare's most testing inventions.
A father, says this speaker, and a gracious aged man have you madded. Not made mad, but that sudden electrical charge of turning what is an adjective into a verb at one shot. Or look at this one from Coriolanus. Coriolanus says, "This last old man, whom with a cracked heart I have sent to Rome, giving him no favours, loved me above the measure of a father, nay, godded me even." Now this time we've formed a verb not from an adjective, but from a noun. And I put it to you, that is more primal, more exciting, more electric than deified me, the Latinate, or made a god of me. This is sudden, compressed, electric.
So, having felt these almost visceral effects of reading Shakespeare, what made you turn to a scientist to
I wanted to know more about what was happening to me. This is not unusual. In the play itself, in Lear, Lear grabs hold of his head. "O Lear, 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 beat at this gate, that let thy folly in and thy dear judgment out. O let me not be mad, not mad." So he's trying to get hold of his head, and I wanted, as I think we all do, to get hold of, to grasp what was going on inside. So I knocked on the door of a neuroscientist and said, my instinct is that these shapes in front of our eyes have an effect on the shapes behind our eyes. How can I test this? Thank you very much.
That's right. I'm going to strap you up, make sure you don't run away. It's very important.
Phil turned to Dr. Guillaume Thierry at the Neuroscience Department of the University of Bangor.
Straps up the cap down. Let's measure the head.
Rather large, actually, Graham, I have to say to you.
You know the size of the brain. You know the size of the brain doesn't predict anything. 56.
Guillaume used an electroencephalograph, or EEG machine, to monitor what happens inside Phil's head when he reads a series of sentences, including one using Shakespeare's intriguing use of godded to mean deified. EEG records brain waves, electrical signals emitted by the brain. Thierry knew that if the brain's confused by the meaning of a word, it reacts by sending out a distinct electrical response 400 milliseconds after reading the word. It's called an N400. If, on the other hand, the brain's thrown by the grammar, it generates a different response after 600 milliseconds, and that's called a P600. These distinct signals are saying, in effect, N400, ignore that, it's nonsense. P600, that's odd, but it means something. Phil and Guillaume tested 4 different phrases, starting with a simple control sentence that both made sense and used correct grammar. The next 2 sentences violated either grammar or sense. The big question was, how would Phil's brain respond to that odd word godded? What electrical signal would it generate? After analysing data from 20 other subjects as well as Phil, Guillaume revealed his results.
So let's take the first one. They thought so well of the hero that they deified him.
And in that case, you get neither an N400 nor a P600. So there is no sign of grammatical violation or semantic violation.
Essentially, this is the brain saying nothing special here, nothing to react to. It's just, you know, this is life.
It's our baseline, basically. It's where we start from. And then we can look at the different...
It's communication, and honestly, it's dead boring. So we're not interested in that.
No.
So which one would you like to take
I would definitely leave the functional shift for the end.
Because that will be more exciting for the viewers.
So to keep the suspense, I would rather keep the
So
next one.
let's go for, they thought so well of the hero that they printed him.
It's obviously semantically inappropriate, and what you're getting here is an N400 variation.
An N400 because it doesn't make sense to say they thought so well of the hero that they printed him.
So an N400 is basically the brain showing, oi, this doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the kind of response we would expect. That's what we got. So this is very nice.
So here, in this collaboration, is sentence number 3. They thought so well of the hero that they candled him.
What we get is both an N400 and a P600. So we can tell that the brain is both shocked in terms of the content, the meaning, and also shocked about the form.
So the brain behaves quite differently if it's shocked because it's a syntactical error,
Absolutely.
as from if it's shocked because it's a meaning error, two quite separate processes.
Completely different processes.
So, fourth, last but no means least, Shakespeare, or Shakespeare diluted. They thought so well of the hero that they godded him.
What we get is fundamentally P600 effect. There is no violation of meaning. Meaning is perfectly integrated normally. But the grammatical structure, the grammatical disruption is produced.
So there's a big P600, a big kick on that word.
That's right.
But nonetheless, unlike with candled, there is no N400. The brain says, I can accept this.
So essentially what Shakespeare is doing is, every so often, just when he thinks the reader might be getting a bit relaxed and knows what's coming next, he'll throw in a kind of oddball word to get attention going.
You couldn't find a word that's more appropriate, actually. Is basically throwing in something that is going to be surprising, generates, activates these responses from the brain that are really genuinely oddball detectors.
Phil and Guillaume's unique experiment shows that Shakespeare's literary trick literally electrifies the brain. The expressive use of a noun as a verb acts like a neural kick, snapping the brain to attention. Shakespeare also uses a more common trick to rivet attention. He spins a good yarn.